This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Ebony Island. But before that, this video is brought to you by Brad and Daisy Moonbeam. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Ebony Island map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you a little bit of the description. Ebony Island is a fictional island located somewhere around the coast of the UK. The island boasts a lush farming area set on rolling hills. The island offers something for everyone and is a lot of options to make it your own world. This is perfect for small to medium equipment. Starting farm is an arable farm with minimal equipment for contract work. This map includes 7 farms, 225 fields of all shapes and sizes, alien gems, cuttable hedges allowing you to merge fields easily, Suchsneaks relight mod, multiple shed types, custom animal pens, lime station, walls, and hedges are all included within the build mode. In addition to that, there are custom production points spread around the map that have increased storage capacities for both input and outputs, and those are also available in build mode for placing additional factories down. There are 100 Elm Creek collectibles available around the map. There are forestry plots. The map does have a custom soil map, so if you are playing with precision farming, you will have a custom soil map. Cow, sheep, and horse pens are set up for the graze mod, and animal food and water capacities are also set up for the maize plus mod. Now, while this is a console and PC release, there are a few things in here that I think may be available for PC only. That is specifically the preparations for the graze mod and the preparations for maize plus. Let's go ahead and load on in. Now we are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. If you do happen to play this map in a farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find all 7 of the pre-placed farms already built out on the map, but you will not own any land at the start, nor will you own any of the starting machinery that we're about to demonstrate here in new farmer mode. Now, when you load into the map for the very first time, you will start up here at the vehicle shop. The vehicle shop, as you can see from the PDA in the lower left corner, is approximately at the northernmost point of the island. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And take a look at all of those fields. Quite a large array of fields. This map does include all of the standard crop types available to us here in Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at the lands, we start out with an arable farm here at Farm ID 217. It is $31,400 to buy if you are starting out in a play mode other than New Farmer mode. And as far as the other 7 farms that are available on the map, well, we have one here at Farmland 176 for $214,000. We also have one here at Farmland 163 for $120,000. We have one at Farmland 137 for $90,000. Farmland 51 for $58,000, Farmland 27 for $126,000, and then finally Farmland 148 for $216,000. Now, in addition to that, there is a biogas plant, and the biogas plant has a viable Farmland 109. But if we zoom on in here, 109 is only the viable silage bunker. Okay, so when you buy 109, you're only buying the silage bunker with respect to having the ability to deposit silage into the silage bunker. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, what farmland ID number they are, if they include a field, which field or fields they include, how large the farmlands are, and how much those farmlands are going to cost. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through this list, and at any point in time, you can pause the video if you want to take a closer look at any one specific farmland ID number and what field number it is associated with, because here in a little bit we will be taking a look at the field calculator screen. The field calculator screen is going to then break down the fields and show us the exact size of the specific field. Now, typically farmlands and fields don't have to really line up as far as sizes go, but the way the PDA was looking, it looks like most of the viable farmlands that include fields on Ebony Island are going to be pretty darn close in size. But boy, there are a plenty of viable farmlands and fields. Remember, the description said 225 fields are going to be available. Now, I think this map would be a prime map for a multiplayer because of the 7 playable farms and the large number of fields that are available. So here we are at a field calculator screen, and now we're going to see the specific fields and the sizes of each specific field. Then you'd have to cross-reference the field number with the farmland lease screen in order to ultimately see how much any one particular field is going to cost you. Overall, you're going to see that most of these fields are sub 1 hectare in size. There are a few fields that are going to be larger than that, for sure. Here we have field 98, for example, it's 1.44. But overall, most of these fields are going to be sub 1 hectare in size. So again, perfect map, I think, for someone that wants to play with smaller equipment or at the largest, kind of medium-sized equipment. And I would classify medium-sized equipment to be something around the 6-meter range and no larger than that. Now, what we will go ahead and do is let's go ahead and take a look at our soil map. The overall soil map is kind of several little splotches of sandy loam and loamy sand, with loam kind of being in between each of those splotches, and then silty clay kind of holding it all together there, kind of toward the center. Now, we do have a custom crop counter also available on this particular map, so I can just slowly scroll through that. You can take a look at that. We do have the ability to plant and harvest canola here in August, but just taking a quick look here, it doesn't look like we really have the ability to double crop any sort of particular crops with this soil map. And if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game crops that we can grow here in Farm Sim 22. So that is good to see. We also have multiple sell points for our animal outputs of eggs, wool, and milk. We do have silage, hay, straw, and grass sell points. And as we move down through our base game productions, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game productions that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. One thing that we do not have the ability to do at the point that the map starts is we do not have a bulk lime buy point pre-placed on the map, but we do in build mode have the ability to put down a bulk lime buy point. We do have a stone crusher pre-placed on the map, and now as we move down through all of the platinum expansion production items, as one would likely expect, just this soon after platinum expansion has released, we do not have the ability to sell any of those pre-built into the map. That's okay. If you really want to put some of these down because of the amount of forestry that is available on this map, don't worry. You can always put down the Silver Run Forest sell point. We do, if you are playing with pumps and hoses, also have the ability to sell our separated manure at the bales market. Now, if we take a look at our vehicle overview screen, as far as our starting equipment in new farmer mode, all of our equipment is owned. None of it is leased, but some of it has some pretty decent hours on it, and some of it needs a little bit of maintenance going on, but overall it is all fairly well maintained. There are no animals owned at the start. Depending on which farm you buy, there are going to be animal pens available on some of the various other farms, but on the starting farm, we do not have any animals. We do have contracts available, which is a good darn thing with 225 fields. That's what I'm going to tell you. We do not own any production chains at the start. And as I said, we do have the 100 Elm Creek collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting fleet. So in new farmer mode, we start out with the Valtra N175 direct small tractor. We have the Valtra Q305 and T255 Valtra tractors. As far as medium goes, we have the Nova 330 harvester that is paired up with the Power Stream 500 grain header and the Nardi N40B header trailer. We have the Krone Big M 450 self-propelled mower. We also then have the ASW 271 Fleagle trailer. We also have a 5-row corn header to be matched up with our harvester. I didn't see that previously. We have the Amazon ZATS 3200 fertilized spreader. We have the FanX 904 tedder, the Semez Z2 840H windrower. We have the Kuhn VB 3190 round baler. We have the Anderson RBM 2000 round bale trailer. And then we have the 7850C round bale wrapper. That is our starting equipment. As far as mods and DLCs, we do not have any custom vehicles or equipment that are a part of this particular map. And with that, I'm just going to tab super fast over to the starting farm here in new farmer mode. And you'll see that this is over here kind of in the southwest area of the island. We'll pull up the PDA real quick just so you can see a little closer view of where that is. And we are surrounded by a pretty dense forest. In fact, let's just jump at the lands area. You'll see that 182 is a forest, 29 acres in size, $744,000. 172 is also a forest at 23 acres in size and $577,000. Now, all of the farms, all 7 of those farms, do have farmhouses. They're all the same farmhouse, but we do have individual farmhouses at all of those farms. So here we have the Holt by the Rune farmhouse with our wardrobe trigger in the garage. Now, as far as can the farms be customized? Yes, indeed. Every single farm has the ability to sell every single building that is on every single farm. So all 7 farms are completely customizable. So we've got some sheds here, and all these sheds are available in the build mode. So we have a silo for seed or mineral feed. Here we have a meridian bin for our fertilizer storage. We have our farm silo right there. We have a fuel tank that is currently empty. And then we round it all out with a liquid fertilizer storage tank here also that is empty. And that is pretty much the starting farm. It's a Bly Things farm after all. Now the hedges here can be walked through. That means they can also be driven through. But do note that there are fence posts in these hedges, and those do have collisions. So depending on where you try to cross the hedge, you may run into a collision. And these are, as the description said, Alien Gem hedges. If you come in here with a chainsaw and cut this fence post down, then a portion of this hedge will vanish as a result of that fence post being cut down. Now I'm going to go ahead and break away real fast. I'm going to buy all of the individual farms so that we can talk about those as we drive and fly around. Now that we have bought those, you can see that we have, let's see, we've got a large cow barn, we've got a chicken coop, we have a large sheep barn, we have a cow pasture, chicken pasture, we have another chicken pasture and another cow pasture, a third chicken pasture, a third cow pasture, 4th chicken pasture. Then we have another large sheep barn, we have a pig pasture, another chicken pasture, and a horse pasture. So we have We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 different animal pens pre-placed on the map at 6 other farms. Let's get a little bit of altitude and we'll take a look around. So we're right here kind of on the western edge of the map, but you can get a good idea of kind of how dense the forest is around the starting farm. We also get an idea of how the fields are laid out here. A lot of the fields directly across from the starting farm are rectangular or squarish in shape. Again, all of those hedges can be cut by finding the little fence posts and cutting those off within the hedge rows, then coming through and kind of grinding down the stumps. But then you'll be able to clear out all of those hedges should you so wish. Let's go ahead and make our way over here to Farmland 176. This is where the first custom playable farm is going to be that we're going to take a look at. Again, all of the farmhouses are the same. We've got a large animal pen. We've got our sheds here. We got a silage bunker, silo. We have another animal pen in the back. And then a third one right there. 3 animals at that farm. We have our spinnery. We have our grape processing area. Now, this map includes 12 productions pre-placed. We have the BGA, which we can see right here. And remember I said earlier that the BGA, we have Viable Farmland ID 109. That is specific to just the silage bunker. We also have a dairy, a sugar mill, a cereal factory, a tailor, carpentry, sawmill, oil mill, spinnery, grape processing center, a bakery, and a grain mill. Now, speaking of collectibles, it looks like we've got a toy right here on top of the BGA right here. I'll try not to spoil the collectible hunt too much. Here we have another playable farm. So we have our farmhouse, we have our silage bunker, we have our silo, we have 2 animal areas, and a lot of the sheds and everything are going to be repeated with respect to the other playable farms. And I kind of have an understanding as to why that was done. That was really done in order to minimize the file size and kind of keep the slot count low for console players. Here we have our carpentry. Then we have our third optional player farm. So we've got some base game sheds. We've got some custom sheds. Our farmhouse. We have our custom animal pens. The farm wraps around. Now we'll go ahead and kind of head up the eastern side of the map. Take a look across this map entirely. See how we've got some rolling hills, nothing too extreme. So I think you should be pretty good with respect to maybe having some undersized tractors in order to pull your machinery. So we have our tailor below. So with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, we are going to give the map a full point because of the fact that we have 12 productions pre-placed. We're also going to give the map a full point with respect to having the ability to sell all included base game crops, animal outputs, and production. And we're going to be giving the map a full point as well because all of these player farms, all 7, we can sell everything on all 7 of these playable farms. So we've got another farmhouse here, another animal area. We've got a silo, another animal area, some more custom sheds. Now as we move across the northern part of the map, or northern part of the island, right, we've got our cereal mill. We have our vehicle shop, which is where we started. We're just going to kind of skip over that for now and make our way down to the 6th playable farm that is available on the map. So here we have 2 animal pens. We have a silage bunker. We have farm silo. We have liquid storage. We have solid storage. We also have seed storage. We have a grocery store sell point right across from the church. We have a fuel depot. Just down the road, we have our dairy. We're going to be coming around to all of these during the drive-around portion. And then across the bridge, we're going to come upon our 7th and final playable farm. This one has a large cattle operation. I believe this one may be set up also with the feeding robot. I might be mistaken on that. Then we have a silage bunker. We have what I think is a sheep pen. And everything there. Then we have our grain mill off in the distance. Let's make our way back to the shop. We're going to get our Mahindra. Then we're going to do a drive around. We're going to take a closer look at all of the available player farms, production points, and sell points. We've got our shop trigger right up front, right in the front door. Go ahead and get our Mahindra. We'll take a look and see where vehicles spawn in at. So vehicles spawn in here. We've got a decent sized area for our machinery to spawn in. Not the largest area and not the widest roads. So again, we're going to be pretty well restricted to small to medium equipment as far as really kind of getting around the map with ease. Back here around the side of this building, we do have our vehicles trigger for our customized sell, repair, trade, and repaint. Right there, our dealer trigger. Now, with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. They kind of are. The buildings are the placeable stone walls, the placeable well, speaking of placeables, let's just kind of pause here and take a look at the build mode, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So, the placeable sheds. This map includes several custom sheds that we can put down. And most of these, if not all of these placeable sheds, are basically using older, flat textures. So, about half of the sheds at the various farms are using these custom sheds. Now, there's nothing wrong with those. They're just not using the new texturing kind of techniques. Here we've got one that is, but it's also, weathered. Weathered pretty nice. So we've got lots of custom sheds. We do have a custom silage bunker. And we have a custom pharma silo. It holds 400,000 liters, just like the base game pharma silo. There are no custom silage extensions, containers, tools, or farmhouses. With respect to production, we do have, as the description said, custom production that is a part of this map, and we can also place down those custom productions, and these have been set up with larger input and output capacities. There are no custom sell points, greenhouses, orchards, or generators. As far as animal areas, yes, we do have custom animal areas. So with respect to cows, we have a large cow pasture that's going to be set up to hold 1,000 cows. Right? And it's just kind of an open, fenced-in cow pasture. Then we have the large cow barn that's set up to hold 2,000 cows. Then we have the large cow barn with feeding robot that is also set up to hold 2,000 cows. As far as horses go, we have custom horse area. This is set up to hold 16 horses. Pigs, we have a custom pig sty, large, set up to hold 2,000 pigs. Then we have an open pig pasture that's set up to hold 1,000 pigs. As far as sheep goes, we have a large sheep barn that's set up to hold 2,000 sheep. Chickens, we have 2 modded areas, 1,000 chickens in this small fenced-in area, and then 2,000 chickens in this slightly larger area that is including a chicken house. No custom bees or other animals. And then as far as decorations go, this is what I was getting at. We have then the placeable hedges. These are the hedges that you can cut that we can put down. These are in sections, so that's not like a base game hedge that you kind of draw out. You will have to be placing these in sections. You know, place, 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 just like FS19. We have a placeable brick wall, and this brick wall is not using the new texturing technique. And again, you're going to have to place that in sections. Then we have the old wall that, again, you're going to be placing down in sections. Then under landscaping, we have several textures that you can put down, and then base game planks. So, as I was saying, with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique, we're going to give the map a half a point there. Just a half a point because of, well, there is a large presence of those custom farm buildings at the 7 playable farms that are using that. And then we have these kind of stone walls scattered around the map that are also using that older technique. Not a big deal. Sure, not a big deal, but that is how we do rate things. So we have our dump point here for our sugar mill. We have a floating collectible up there. Oops-a-daisy. Got some more toys down here. We have our pallet spawn point and our interactive icon. Oh, we're driving on the wrong side of the road. That's going to be a problem. I can see that being a problem real quick. Let's go across the bridge over to another playable farm. We have our grain mill located right here. So we have our dump point, pallet spawn point, and interactive icon around the backs of that facility. Our sawmill is going to be located or down here by the bridge. Now I mentioned this, and I really think this map would work out well for a multiplayer map, because again, there are 7 playable farms. There are so many fields that players could, really go to town buying their fields, and it probably would take a little bit of time before kind of every field on the map would be bought up. So here we have our sawmill. We also have a biomass heating plant down here. So we have our dump point. We have our wood cell trigger. We have our stone crusher also located up here. We have our pallet spawn point for our planks. Down here on this side, and then we have our interactive icon right there. We'll make our way across the street to the driveway for the additional player farm. Come in here, we have a multitude of storage sheds. We have a fuel tanker. We have our farm silo. For liquid fertilizer storage, we have our farmhouse. We have our chicken coop. And this one is going to be set up to hold 2,000 chickens, remember. We have our food point for that. And then around the side is going to be where our eggs are going to spawn. We have a silo for food or mineral feed. So there we have our eggs. We have a solid fertilizer storage tank. Then we have a large sheep barn. So we have our wool spawn point. We have our dump point and then our drop-off point for our sheep. 2,000 sheep in this particular pasture. Silage bunker, and then we have a large cow barn. It's going to be holding 2,000 cows. You can go big, and you can also go home at the same time on this particular map. So we have our milk trigger. Of course, have our food and straw triggers inside of here. And then we have our slurry point, and, well, I'm not trying to show you all collectibles, but seriously, they are not very well hidden. Shouldn't be too hard to come across all 100 of those. Nice bale shed up here for our cows and our sheep. Well, no, we don't want to go that way. Let's go this way. You see, we can drive through the hedges again until we hit one of those poles. Those poles are going to stop you each and every time. But if we do have a chainsaw, we'll be able to cut those down without too much hassle. Make your way over here to another possible player farm where we have a solid fertilizer silo, our fuel. We have our seed and mineral feed silo. We have our grain silo. We have our liquid fertilizer silo. Lots of sheds, indicative of kind of the UK style, scattered around here. Then we have a large cow pasture. Just 1,000 cows in this one. Just 1,000. Nothing big. So we have our water, we have our food, and then we have our milk point for our cows. Got a silage bunker going on here, our farmhouse. And then we have a chicken coop. 1,000 chickens in here. For our food, and then we have our egg spawn point. And again, you know, not trying to spoil it for you. They're just there, and they're just that easy to see. Make our way back out here to the main street. Curious which farm you would play if you were going to play on this map. So we have our grocery sell point. Kind of a narrow fence getting here around back. So we have a dump point for like our pallets. We have a dump point for our grain. Yeah, to get around the back here, kind of narrow. Just down for that, we have our fuel depot. Gasolino. And then further down the street, we have our dairy. To our pallet spawn point, we have our dump point. And then we have our interactive icon, where or no other than at the front door. As we make our way down the western edge of the map, the starting farm is going to be over here to our right. We really don't need to kind of go into there, but that is part of that large forest that our farm is surrounded by. There's our farm there, the starting farm. In new farmer mode. Let's see if we can make our way over to the third custom farm. Have a long lane. Let's get a little bit of altitude. Those hedges make it hard to kind of see the land, right? Look at that. I would be curious if the if this relight. I don't know too much about this relight mod. If that's going to be. I mean, am I looking at custom lighting now? Is that a mod I have to put in? Got one of our sheds. We have another chicken area. Get 1,000 chickens here. With our egg point. Our feed point. Silage bunker, silo, fertilizer silo, mineral feed or seed silo. We have our fuel. We have our liquid fertilizer storage. Then we have another large cow pasture. 1,000 cows here. So we have our water, we have our food, and we have our milk again. We're not going to be getting slurry from these because, well, I mean, when they do their business, it's just going to go down to Mother Nature. We have our farmhouse. And this is going to be one of the horse areas. 16 horses. Then we have our water, our food. I'm a little curious if we can hang a right here and have a kind of an alternate way. Yeah, alternate lane out of the farm. That's cool. Got enough large forest area kind of maybe to tickle one's fancy on possibly putting down some of the platinum expansion stuff. Might have to sacrifice a field somewhere for the sell point, but you know. You got 225 of them. So we have our bakery, we have our dump point, we have our pallet spawn point, and our interactive icon up front. We then have our animal dealer, where we're going to be able to buy and pick up animals. We have our animal dealer sell point. Then we have our bale sale sell point, also located right here. Let's double back. Making our way across the southern edge of the map now. where we're going to come across our spinnery. All the business around back. We have our interactive icon around the side, dump point, and pallet spawn point. Across the street, we have our great processing center. All the business right there up front. We'll make our way down the lane to get to our biogas plant, our oil mill, I believe, and then another playable farm. So here we have the silage bunker that we can buy, 109, farmland 109. Then we have the viable biogas plant, so we have our digestate output. We have our dump point also for our slurry, located right here. We have our interactive icon and our digester dump point. Our oil mill, interactive icon, dump point, and pallet spawn point. And then the player farm, conveniently located right here. So a silage bunker, fuel, silo, lots of machinery sheds, seed and mineral feed. Guess what? Another large cow pasture. So milk, water, food. We have our solid fertilizer tank, our liquid fertilizer tank, another set of chickens, 1,000 chickens, food, eggs, our farmhouse. There we go. Now, the map builder CavalierRoy has done a few other maps that are also available on the Giants Mod Hub. A lot of them are all focused in the UK or areas around such. They're all fairly tight fields, hedges. They kind of have a very similar feel to them overall. And they almost always include multiple fields, which makes them really good candidates for multiplayer servers. So we have our contract yard, we have our dump point, wood cell trigger, our floating horsey, oopsie-daisy, interactive icon, and pallet spawn point around the back. Your levitating collectibles are free of charge. Coming down to what I think is now our 6th playable farm. Farmhouse, we have then a chicken pasture. Again, 1,000 chickens. Seems like every farm has themselves some chickens. We have our farmhouse, storage, farm silo, pig pasture, 1,000 pigs in here. Liquid fertilizer silo. We have our fuel, we have our mineral feed and seed. Then we have another shed around the back. And remember, all of these sheds, silos, animal pens on every single playable farm can be sold. So if you don't like the farm layout, but you like the farm location, CavalierRoy has got you covered. We're going to make our way up the eastern edge of the map. I look across, but we've got this, you know, tree line working here. We have our tailor, so our wardrobe trigger, we're at up point, interactive icon, and pallet spawn point. We have the collectibles toy store. Now we can kind of look across the map. One more time, if you don't want these hedgerows, they can be removed one fence post at a time. So as we come up to our last player farm and our last production point that we're going to take a look at, let's talk about the last final scoring metric, that is player interactive triggers being clearly marked. I believe that they are clearly marked. We've not left ourselves curious as to, I wonder where certain things are. So we're going to give the map a full point there. So for those keeping score at home, that's going to give this map a score of 4.5 out of 5. Very respectable score. With 7 playable farms, 225 fields. I think this map is prime, as I've said multiple times, for a multiplayer setup. So we've got our fuel tank. We have our seed and mineral feed. We have our liquid fertilizer tank. Guess what? We have our solid fertilizer tank. We have a large sheep area. So we have our wool spawn point. We have our food drop. And then we have our animal pickup. 2,000 sheep once again. We have our farmhouse. Then we have another chicken area with our eggs and food. Now, before we go check out our final sell point, we do want to run through our food here. So, cow barn, milk, straw slurry, normal food. We have our chickens. We've got our sheep. So, nothing super shocking here as far as our animal requirements go if we are playing standard base game stuff. Now, of course, if you are playing on PC and you add Maize Plus and those types of mods, then of course your food requirements are going to vary based on how those mods affect your animals. And our final production point is our cereal factory, which is going to be located right here. We have our dump point, we have our pallet spawn point, and our interactive trigger all at the same area. So guys, let me know, what do you all think of Ebony Island? Is it a map that you're going to add to your soon to get around to playlist? Are you going to venture out and give it a go in multiplayer? You and 7 other friends could tackle Ebony Island and see who's going to be chief farmer on the island. And until next time, happy farming.